What is going on, everyone? Chris with Journals, Comics, and Pop Culture. It is Wednesday, and that means it is A1 Wednesday, guys. Big shout out to A1 Comics. Every Wednesday, I let you guys know of A1 Comics Instagram live sales. They got one going on tonight, 6 p.m. Pacific time, 9 p.m. Eastern, guys. Check out A1's link below. They do it every Wednesday and Friday. They got some awesome books and raffle item tonight, or auction item, excuse me. So go check them out tonight. If you are just hanging around, sitting around, hop on your phone, log into IG, go give them a follow, and check out their live sales. You won't want to miss the stuff that they're giving away, guys. So that's the big announcement that I always like to do on my A1 Wednesdays. Second announcement is I have to show off fresh Journos Comics merch, guys. And that is this beautiful tee right here. Heroes Never Die. Y'all know who that is. My Leia-themed Journos Comics Heroes Never Die shirt, guys. You can get these on my official merch website. Link is below. This is just one of the few items. You guys have seen me rock the classic Journos Comics and Pop Culture logo tees, which is that logo right down there. Really good quality stuff, guys. Decently affordable. I have all my stuff under, market cost of what most graphic tees are going for, because I want you guys to be able to afford and support. So go check out the website, guys. I can't wait to rock this. I would have thrown it on, but it's A1 Wednesday. So guys, today though, we are going over some more key and hot books, guys. I did a video yesterday where I went through basically not even half of this box that I got right here to my right, and we're just gonna go into the rest today, guys. All right, so I left off yesterday at Fantastic Four. I showed off my Fantastic Four 49, first full appearance of Galactus, and then I showed off my Fantastic Four 50. So we're gonna start with some more Fantastic Four today, guys, and that is a decent looking Fantastic Four number 53. Second appearance of Black Panther. Yes, I don't own 52. I know. It's sad. But this is a nice looking mid-grade. It's got a really cool date stamp. I can't stand writing on my comics, guys. I don't mind date stamps. I don't mind date stamps. May 10th. Look at that. Cool. Right there. Anyways, second appearance of Black Panther. We all know that, if you can't get your hands on a first appearance, why not grab a second appearance? They're still sought after. You get them on the cover. I always actually like this cover. This book is probably, I would say, maybe around a 3.5 to a 4.0. It's got a lot going on the spine. It's got a couple of big creases right here that break color a bit. If those weren't there, I might boost this up to a 4.5, but these probably bring it down, in my opinion, to a 3.5. Again, I'm okay with that. I like books that present well, and this one does just that. And, all things Black Panther, for me, much respect. I don't want to get too much into, Black Panther spec. We all know what's going on there, and I'm just not going there. Okay, guys, this is another book that is obviously very iconic in its own sense, but is just a great book to have for long term. This is Fantastic Four 55. It's just a really kind of iconic cover with Silver Surfer going after Thing, but it is an early Silver Surfer appearance still. So this book is one that, not necessarily any type of movie hype or speculation, but a book that I feel is going to continue to increase over time. This book is probably around a 4.0, 4.5, but it presents really well, because again, no real big color breaks throughout the book, but the edges are decently rounded. But I love the purple. I love how it pops. And if you guys haven't kind of gotten a theme right now, I'm a budget collector. I'm not made of money, and if I could get mid-grade books, I'm all for it, because I can't afford the high grades. But I like to grab mid-grade books that present really well, and that's that means a lot to me, what they look like when they're sitting in the Mylar or the CGC slab. All right, next up, guys, we have Fantastic Four 66. First cameo appearance of the cocoon of him. I have a couple of copies of this. I'm gonna think that this is my best copy. I'm gonna say that this is possibly a 5.5, maybe a 6.0. But yeah, I talked a lot about these books, guys. Anything surrounding Adam Warlock. And here's the thing that I've talked about too. I talked about it in my video yesterday about which was it? Another, I can't think of it off the top of my head, but I talked about, oh yeah, Eternals, Black Knight, right? Adam Warlock. Everything's been put on pause. We had, not even with COVID, but we had the James Gunn scenario, and I talk about this a lot. If you are looking to spec on some Adam Warlock, now obviously you missed your chance to get it when they were low before we even got hinted at Adam Warlock in the MCU. But right now, we had the issue with James Gunn and the postponement of Guardians 3, and then COVID and even more postponements. So people are taking their eyes off of certain things and probably putting them to other things. Adam Warlock is one of them. If you could go after Adam Warlock books right now, I highly believe that it's a good investment, because I think that the prices on these books are kind of stagnating. Once we get an announcement of a Guardians 3, or like I was saying, who knows, with Star-Lord, Chris Pratt showing up in Thor Love and Thunder, we don't know if what was going on at the end of Guardians 2 might pop up in the Thor film. Who knows if we get our first real peek at Adam Warlock, or Adam Warlock shows up. We don't know, but of course, once that happens, I think everything Adam Warlock is going to go through the roofs. And many of you know, Adam Warlock has a lot of key issues surrounding him, and his first appearance is, right? And this is the one that starts them all. So I'm glad that I have a couple of those books. And then, what's 66 without Fantastic Four 67? First appearance of the Cocoon. This is a decent looking book. I would say this is 6.5 to a 7.0 maybe. I'd really have to take a look at it out of the bag, but it's really nice. There's a little bit of a dinge on the white, but it's decent. A little bit of discoloring, but it's still decent. Yeah, so that just, again, everything that I said about Adam Warlock, obviously I'm going to say about 67. I showed this off in a video not too long ago, and this is a fun spec book on Galactus. It's Supervillain Classics #1, the retelling of the Galactus origin. If you could find this book in a high grade for, you know, under $10, why not? That's my thing. And I think I paid like $5 for this plus shipping. Book that you could probably find in the dollar bins a couple years ago. Not anymore. And again, this isn't a book that's gonna, you know, let you retire or be worth hundreds of dollars. But I do think it's a book that if we see Galactus in the MCU, this book can be a book that just gets a bit more sought after. And you may see this book pushing $50, $60 or something like that. Again, just throwing numbers out there. I don't think this book is ever going to be anything crazy. But right now, it's a fun book to have that could possibly give you a little bit of return on investment, especially if you can get a high grade and maybe slab it up and sell it if it gets hot and get a little bit of profit in your pocket, guys. All right, this is from a run that I've been collecting heavily lately, but of course it has spec value. Hulk 182. Technically, let's do the math right, guys. Hulk 181 is Wolverine's first full appearance. You could technically call this his second appearance because he's on the front page, or the first page. Then he disappears, right? It's the ending of the 181 story. Technically, it's his third overall appearance, but his second cameo. Think of it like this. Hulk 180 is Wolverine's first appearance in cameo. Hulk 181 is Wolverine's first full appearance, second overall appearance. And this is Hulk's third overall appearance, but second cameo. So again, it's this book. The idea of the label surrounding specifically Hulk 181 in the cameo versus full thing started spiking the 180 prices, and along with it, it started spiking this too. It's not nearly even as valuable as a Hulk 180, But look, any appearance of Wolverine in the early books, including this one-page appearance before he disappears, it means something to some collectors out there, and it's definitely gained value over the last couple of years. So this is a decent copy. I would say maybe, I don't know, actually the spine's kind of beat up. 5.0, 5.5, that's my guess. Alright guys, this is a one that it breaks my heart. Incredible Hulk number 377. I'll tell you why it breaks my heart. This is the first appearance of Professor Hulk. I let my kid read this when he was really young. And he ripped it. I don't know if you guys could see that right there, but there's a chunk that's ripped. It's still there. It's like attached to the staple, but so I just folded it and made sure. Other than that, though, I mean, this book was like, you know, it got some spine ticks in it, but it was like close to a very fine book. And then I let my kid handle it, and that's okay. You know, I'm not mad. My kid enjoyed it. He read it, thoroughly read it. This was probably, I don't know, maybe 7 years ago. He might have been like 5 or 6 years old when he first actually started reading. Maybe he was a little older. Maybe he was like 7. But yeah, but hey, look, I still have it. And that's what matters. Alright guys, this next one is Infinity Crisis number 3. This is the first appearance of Jaime Reyes, right? Is the Blue Beetle. I talked about this before. I think if the Blue Beetle gets brought into the DCEU in any way, or even to like HBO Max, I believe it could be Reyes' character. I think that would be probably the way the DC would go. So, you know, and I don't want to put this character anywhere close to like a Miss Marvel or Miles Morales or something like that. But you could see, you know, the similarities in terms of bringing these newer characters into the roles, into the video games or the cinematic universes. So, you know, if you could get your hands on this book for under $10 right now, that's a really good deal. High grade, of course, because if there's ever any speculation, this book is definitely going to increase. Like I said, I'm not going to compare it to, you know, these new Marvel characters. But hey, I could definitely see this book getting up to being over $100 book in a high grade raw if we do find out that there's any type of speculation for this character to show up in live action. So, and of course, this book is minty fresh. All right, guys, this is a very interesting one, and probably one of the first that I'm showing here that is a bit of a negative, and that's Iron Man number 219. This book spiked when Ant-Man and Wasp came out, and we saw the Ghost, first appearance of Ghost. We saw this character in the MCU, and, you know, I thought the character was decent. It fit into the movie, and I had no complaints. It wasn't anything like, ooh, shock and awe. If we're ever going to see the character again in the MCU, I mean, who knows? Maybe in a Disney Plus series somewhere. But this book really shot up, and it came down solid. It had a solid dip. I still believe, and I don't have the numbers off the top of my head, but I still believe it's still pulling in a higher market value than it did before the Ant-Man and Wasp movie hype. But it's nowhere near where it was. When did that movie come out? Two years ago? Something like that? 2 years ago, right? 1 year ago? One and a half? I don't even remember. Anyways, but it's still a solid book. I think I got this book for like $2, you know, some years ago. So you might be able to find this book in the back issue bin still for, you know, like under $5. All right, guys. This is one that I'm very happy to have in my collection. And that's Invincible Iron Man number 9. Technically considered the first full appearance of Riri Williams. Ironheart, number 8 is technically a cameo. And then there's the controversy of her, you know, the second printing with her having the little word bubble. I'm not even going to get into that. Anyways, for me, you know, and for a long time there, number 8 and number 9 were pulling in about the same value. And I think that image of her on the cover of the second print of 8 kind of really put that book right there with this one. But regardless, I think Riri has a huge future in the comic books. and in the movies at some point. I know there's been talk that, oh, they're not going to bring, Iron Man's gone. They're not going to bring in Riri. What are they going to do? I don't know. But I think Riri is a character that can stand the test of time. I don't think she's seen her calling yet, like we've seen with Miles or even Miss Marvel, Kamala Khan. But the potential's there. And this book has gradually increased, and it's still holding a decent value. We will see about long term. I'm not confident enough to say that long term this is a book that's going to keep increasing, but I'm hopeful. I'm absolutely hopeful. All right, guys, this is a fun book that you can find, you might be able to find for decently cheap. That's Miss Marvel number 20, first appearance of the new costume. And this costume was a fan favorite. I probably don't have to tell you guys why. And it lasted up until 2012. When they changed her to Captain Marvel, and she took more of a military type full body suit, gave her the haircut. Of course, that brought in all the ugly controversy of calling her Carl Manverse. And it's, I'm just going to say right now, I think it was disgusting. Like, look, we can be mad and not like the suit, but the tone that was taken, during that time was just too, it was very childish. But hey, I mean, gotta love this suit, right? So I think I got this book, I think it was at A1 Comics, for maybe like $7 or $8, and it was a half off sale. So I got it for like $3.50, $4. And it's, decently fresh. A little ding here. I would say this is definitely a very fine copy. A couple of non-color breaking spine ticks, but yeah, awesome stuff. All right, guys, this is one that I think has been a bit undervalued, that has gained some value over the last year or two, and that's New Mutants Annual number 2, the first appearance of Psylocke in a U.S. publication. I should have brought my first cover appearance of Betsy Braddock, my Captain Britain magazine. It's over there somewhere, but that's another good book. Anyways, this book, I was going to send this off to CGC this year. I didn't. I probably will at some point. I think this is a great cover for one, even though Psylocke isn't on it. Now, the Psylocke that we know in this book is different than the Psylocke that a lot of us grew up with, which I think I have another book in here. I'll get into that later, but still, I thought Olivia Munn did such an amazing job with what she was given in the horrible film that was the Apocalypse movie. And I felt that her character was so underutilized. She was hardly in that film. She looked amazing. I think the lines that she was given in her presence on screen was amazing. I can't wait to see her in the MCU, and I would love to see Olivia come back. I know she's kind of getting older now. I believe she's in her early 40s, so I don't know if that's going to happen. They would probably want a younger character. I don't know, but Betsy, I think is kind of older in the comics as well, so you never know. Hey, you never know. I just want to see Psylocke. Psylocke is one of, if not my favorite X-Men, and a lot of that has to do with Jim Lee. All right, so this is a minty fresh book. I mean, I think this book, it's got a little crinkle at top, so I would say that this book as is probably a 9.2. I might be able to give it a press and get it up to at least a 9.4, but very happy to have that newsstand. I have this in it, in the box, just because record-breaking Spawn 301. Just had to show this book off. What can you say about Todd McFarlane and what he's done with Spawn? This was a book that was extremely hyped up a few years back, and it still holds a bit of value. And again, guys, I don't have all the numbers off the top of my head, but this is Spider-Gwen number 24, the first appearance of Gwenom, and it's the variant cover. I forget who the artist was on this, but is this the variant cover? No, this is the main cover, right? This is the main. I have the variant cover as well. But just what a beautiful cover, right? That black cover. Man, I would love to try to send this in and get a 9.8, but whew. That would be tough. That would be tough. But I got this book from Comic Cards, etc. in Pinole, California. And really cool little shop. I've talked about them a couple times. I got it for cover price. I was looking for this everywhere and I couldn't find it. And then I was visiting my parents who live down in the Bay Area. And I just stopped in the local shop, which is right off of San Pablo Avenue, running right through San Pablo and Richmond. And they had it. So I'm glad I picked that up. All right, guys, we're getting into some of my favorites right now. And that's some Silver Age goodness. SpiderMan, guys. Here is Amazing Spider-Man number 17. Second appearance of Green Goblin. I hope to have number 14 one day. First appearance of Green Goblin. But this book, hey, second best thing. Definitely a lower grade. It's got some, like, blemishing right there. A lot of color breaks coming down here. It's definitely on the staples. I could give it a press because it's got some wrinkles right there. I would say that this book could possibly be a 2.5. I could possibly, I don't know. I mean, if I give it a press, maybe a 3.0, but I'm going to say a 2.5 because honestly with CGC, it could even come back a 2.0. I wouldn't say any lower than a 2.0, but I'm going to say a 2.5. But very happy to have this. I don't remember what I paid for it, but I think this was one of those books that I sat on for weeks and weeks until I got the right bid on one. So, and I was happy with the grade for this book for sure. All right, guys. Next up is, carrying on the same theme here, Amazing Spider-Man number 23, the third appearance of the Green Goblin. Such an amazing cover, and I always say it, man. Steve Ditko does not get the credit that he deserves, man. Look, I mean, he didn't bring the characterization, so to say, that John Romita did, or Sal Buscema or Gil Kane did to the characters, but there was something about his aesthetic still that I absolutely loved. And this is one of those covers, and I love it. This book presents extremely well. No big color breaks at all. It's just the spine is definitely beat up. I could give this a press. Try to flatten that out a little bit too, but I'm going to say that this book is probably, I'm going to say at least a 4.0, maybe higher, especially with the press, but it really presents well. I think it is a beautiful book. Any of these early Green Goblins, guys, if you could find a good deal on. And hey, look, the Spider-Man, Tom Holland's Spider-Man as we know it in the MCU is really still just getting started. We don't know how many of these iconic villains, and we know Spider-Man, like Batman, has tons of iconic villains, right? All right, here's another one, guys, carrying on the theme of Spider-Man and Green Goblin. Here's number 40. Oh, you know what? I don't have 39 in here. My first, because it's over there on display. I would have showed you guys my ASM 39, the first John Romita cover, where Peter Parker gets unmasked, and this is where Green Goblin gets unmasked, and now Peter and Norman know who they are. This is, again, lower mid-grade. I'd probably say it's got a huge color break, like running across there. I wouldn't say this book would get more than a 3.0 just because of that. I think it kind of presents nice, but it's got a color break down here too. I don't know if you guys can see it, but I say this is a 3.0. Again, still just happy to have it in my collection. This is one that I want to send into CGC at some point. This is Amazing Spider-Man number 97. It's the second book of the No Comics Code. The drug issues. Beautiful, beautiful cover. This is, I believe this is a team up of Gil Kane and John Romita on the cover. Now, what I give Gil Kane credit to is when he took over, he dabbled here and there, and then John Romita came back here and there, but then he took over. And he really took, I mean, we know that Gil Kane has his own style, but he really was such a smooth transition because some of Gil Kane's art, you can't tell it apart from John Romita, Sr. But just an amazing cover. This book is really high grade. I would say that this book, I mean, it's got a couple of little spine ticks. Corners are decently sharp. I would say this book is at least an 8.0. possibly up to a 9.2. It's just really hard to gauge, but it's really, really beautiful. I would love to get a 9.0 on that. Alright, guys, and I don't have my 121 in here because it's a CGC book, and I'm just showing off my raw books. But here's my 122 Death of Green Goblin iconic cover. I got the poster of this hanging on my wall. Really, really beautiful. This book can definitely, there's a bit of a spine roll. It can use a press. I'm going to say that this book is about a 4.5 as well. There's a theme here, guys. A lot of these books are right around that 4 to 5 range of these older, Silver Age and some early Bronze Age. But again, happy to have it in my collection. This is one that I've had since I was a kid, so it's definitely a bit beat up. And that's Amazing Spider-Man number 194, first appearance of Black Cat. This is, I mean, it's got the black isn't black anymore. It's got that white kind of, wear, white blotches. Man, I don't see this book getting more than a 4.5, if that. But again, happy to have it. One that goes, I don't even remember. I probably got this when I was like 7 or 8 years old for probably like $2, if that. Here's one that kind of caught hype a year and a half ago when we thought we saw the Elementals and we thought we might see Hydro Man in Far From Home, and here's 212. Just a really cool book to have, guys. I believe there's a bit of a bubble on it because of that hype, and it's come back down now. But hey, these Bronze Age Spider-Man's first appearances, they're solid books to have. This is a decently high grade. I would say probably at least a 9.0. Whoop. And it can probably benefit from a press. Alright, guys. This one. This is the one that, especially right now, super, super hot. Amazing Spider-Man number 238. First appearance of Hobgoblin. Just iconic cover. Newsstand. Lots of speculation right now with Batalon's character. Ned Leeds losing weight, getting fit, and saying, hey, could he become the Hobgoblin? This is, I grew up on the Hobgoblin. I have a bit more love for the Hobgoblin than Green Goblin in a way, just because it was from my era. This is a really nice, near mint book. I would say that this, I could say this is probably a 9.6, but guess what? It doesn't have the tattoos. Yep, so I'm assuming that would give me a qualified label. But newsstand in a high grade still, look, I mean, I'm happy. Darn kids taking those tattoos out and doing what they're supposed to do with them. Alright, guys, next up, of course, 239. If you can't find the first appearance, I think I got this book from A1. I think it was like $18 and it was like 20 or 30% off or something when I bought this some years back. Newsstand, again, higher grade. A little bit of a dinging on the corner there. I'd probably say at least a 9.0. At least. Alright, guys. Now, this is one that perplexes me. When I was a kid, I bought SpiderMan off the shelf. And for some reason, I only grabbed the silver 361, First Carnage. I don't know why. I don't know why I didn't. Maybe I don't know. You know, I remember we didn't go to the comic book store. Like my mother didn't bring us to the comic book store like every weekend. So, but at least I got my hands on this one. It's in really nice shape, except for one color breaking crease that's like right there. So with that, I mean, I don't think this book would get higher than an 8.5. But look, I actually like the silver cover better. This book was going for like, I think like a month ago, $150+ in a CGC 9.8 for the second print. So hey, you know, it's still got value, guys. It still has value. All right, guys, I'm still not going to be able to get through this whole box today. Oh man, and I got some goodies too. But I'm going to stop it at my Spider-Man stuff. So I got a few more books to show off, and then I'm going to have to do a part 3 of this, guys. How fun. All right. Iconic J. Scott Campbell cover. Amazing Spider-Man 606. I remember pulling this off the shelf in Berkeley. I was taking BART to my job. I used to work in Berkeley. I used to take the BART train to Shattuck Avenue in Fantastic Comics. Right there on Shattuck Avenue. I remember going in there after work before I got on the BART train. And this was the new issue. Picked it up. And there, I can't believe how much this has increased in value. I mean, I can, though, because it's such an iconic cover. This is J. Scott Campbell at his best. I talk about J. Scott Campbell being a bit overrated, and sometimes he gets on my nerves with drawing every woman the same with a little rosy nose and whatnot, but this is J. Scott Campbell at his best. I love J. Scott Campbell's Black Cat. Was never really a fan of his Mary Jane, though. Beautiful, beautiful. Kept it near mint. Don't know if it would get a 9.8 with the white, but I'm sure it would get a 9.6. All right, guys, I showed off one of these in part 1, and here's my beat-up copy of Amazing Spider-Man 252. Lots of damage on the spine. I don't think this would get more than a 6.0. Newsstand. I think both of my copies are newsstand. All right, guys, we got one more book, right? One more book, guys. And this is one that it has been heating up. And I think it's going to keep heating up. Amazing Spider-Man number 16. First appearance of Monica Rambeau. New Captain Marvel. This book has heated up ever since the Captain Marvel film came out. And we saw Maria. And we saw little Monica. And we knew at that point that Monica Rambeau was going to show up as an adult in present time. And now she is in WandaVision. I got this book off of eBay, I believe, for maybe $10? I don't know. Somewhere around there. It wasn't too bad. I think I got it maybe 4 years ago. But yeah, good luck finding this for $10. Newsstand. Really nice high grade. I would call this. One little spine tick. One little spine tick. I'd call this a 9.2. That's my estimate. So, yeah, guys, if you could find this one, if you could find this book in a high grade, I haven't even looked at the fair market value, but I know it's hot. But look, I'm just going to say right now, if you could find this book for $20, that's a good buy, because I think this is definitely going to increase. And again, I'm not saying it's going to be worth hundreds of dollars, but when we actually get WandaVision and we see Monica Rambeau's character, and depending on her role, I think this book can definitely double in value. All right, guys, that's it for today's video. Thank you for sticking with me again today, and I'm gonna have one more video to go through. I still got some Silver Age, some Bronze Age, and some more moderns to show off. I'm glad I got through my Spider-Mans, because those are some of my favorites. So, all right, guys, don't forget A1 Wednesday tonight, 6 p.m. Pacific, 9 p.m. Eastern. Information below for A1 Comics. Check out their website. Check out their Instagram I believe it's at A-1 Comics or A1 Comics. The link's below, guys. Just check it out. Official merch, too. Don't forget, guys.